Comics Plus, what is going on? My name is Akasun.
What's up, Super Crew? Good to see you again, DC-san.
OB-WAN, the season finale.
Ooh, yeah.
Already.
Finally. No, I'm
is
saying...
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I'll tell you after the episode.
Okay.
But
okay.
I say finally mainly because I, like many people, just waiting to see where is the story going. Like, we know where the story eventually leads to because of the films, but it's that space in between. So it's like, okay, what you've done, are you going to give us an ending to where we feel satisfied? Oh, okay, that's the end of it.
No.
And another show, or the usual format of give us something to string us on. It's like, and you get the rest of it in season 2. Which is it? What do you think? We getting a follow-up season, or it's going to be
so mad
clean cut?
I'll be so mad if it ends like really unfinished, like kind of like Loki, because I really felt like Loki started.
Loki's the only one that has an official second season.
Right, but that doesn't mean shit to me if I gotta wait over a year or something.
Oh, well, yeah,
for
yeah.
like no, just then you might as well have just released it. It's not a complete season. If I feel like there weren't enough like closures on certain things, then, and especially if you're only giving us 6 episodes, then you might as well have just released a deck of 12 and have some
actually
sort
flesh
of
the story out.
Exactly.
I'm starting to feel like that about some of the shows. Not that I'm not enjoying them, but I do feel like they need more time for the stories to air out.
Yeah.
I get that they're probably trying to stay within a budget cap so they can film a show, move to another project, so these people can, continue their contracts either elsewhere or other projects, and then come back when everyone's schedule fits. I get that. But outside of that, give us 8 to 10 or 8 to 12 episodes and actually flesh the stories out, because I feel like the last 2 shows that we've seen in the Stories universe, Boba and this, they're starting at a slow pace to where it's like, oh, okay, so this is going to be longer than the other shows where it's 6 episodes. Then you get to the 4th episode, it's like, oh, there's only 2 more. Well, they're not going to have enough time. And the only way you can kind of do that is if each episode is almost an hour and a half or 2 hours. Which I don't think is going to happen. Because the longest we've ever gotten out of these shows is what? Like 50-something minutes?
Yeah.
Just barely an hour? Or is it 64?
I think
one episode, but that was Mando.
Right. But even then, I think admittedly, it kind of dragged a bit. We're like,
it had its spot that kind of dragged.
This didn't need to be 65 minutes or so. But there is.
I would prefer the way that we're getting the last 2 shows. I prefer that 65 minutes so they can actually try and get story out. Because otherwise, I feel like there's not enough closure in the story.
Right. If there's some sort of thing and where Darth Vader is starting to stare off into space and you see Obi staring off, and then Qui-Gon shows up and he's like, "Are you ready to begin your training, your real training?" And it's like, done. Obi-Wan will return season 2. I'm like, ugh. Like, okay. And then you see Reva arriving on Tatooine or something like that, and it's kind of like, ugh. So,
I'll say this: the thing with Reva and fans that I'm hearing now, not so much about her character in particular, of like or dislike, but more in the vein of, well, why is it that her character knows and she's not dead? I think because usually comic books and other iterations, it's like Vader has pretty much made it very clear that if you know his true identity or his previous identity, you don't survive. Okay, maybe he started that rule because of Reva.
Oh.
Because all this stuff technically kind of happens, or it's being led to say that it happens during this time period. So it's like, okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that per se, although if this is one of those story points where I need closure so it makes a little bit more sense. Her having a side series, that's her business. It's fine. I'm actually kind of looking forward just to see, all right, what are you going to do? But, and hopefully not all of it will be on Tatooine. But I'm like, okay, why is it that it's so important that her character survived?
Okay.
That's what I need answer.
feel
Because there has to be something that makes sense, because it doesn't make sense.
I feel the only thing out of that is that's
and outside of her being contracted to have a side series.
It was something
Story.
during the fight scene. Like I was kind of joking in the fact that Vader didn't even take out his main weapon, and
No, he didn't break.
He
his,
threw
no.
one of the sabers at her and was kind of toying with her.
Yeah.
One of the things I kind of and I think that my favorite episode of the series so far, or was the last episode, was the fact that it's Vader essentially indirectly having his own Padawan.
But he's basically auditioning her,
right?
And I feel like her
or
character,
not even, just kind of pushing her a certain direction. That's all.
Well, yeah,
like not necessarily auditioning her to not like Star Killer or something like
oh,
that.
No.
But more or less just like
give me Star Killer.
More or less just kind of like, okay, I remember what I was once like you, and so I kind of want to play with you to see if you will show up the same way I will be, or if Obi was right and I need to, because that's one of the only really good things out of that entire episode was the fact that Vader will always be a Padawan in his mind. Or Anakin never got over it, and that's one of the reasons he hates Obi so much. So it's very interesting, and I thought I think indirectly he's kind of teaching Reva a lesson the same way. Yeah, because he could have just he could have dooku'd her right then and there.
But I feel like that would have been weak.
Okay.
Like if she died during the fight, okay, that's fine. But doing the same thing like he did to Zuga, I was like, that's a bit much. I mean, it may look cool visually, but story-wise, it wouldn't make sense. I'll say this: one of the things that I got from watching that was that, okay, because of their interaction, I think I mentioned this before, but it's almost like her character has to make a decision if she goes full dark side to try and gain more power, to learn to be more ruthless, so she could potentially try and beat him, kind of like Asajj Ventress style, or she has to learn to be a better person, but is still haunted by the fact that she wasn't good enough to take him out when he basically killed the family that she knew, so to speak. And it's like it's always haunting her and evolving. So it's like, okay, well, how does this character deal with it? So I'm like, maybe they did that so the character has a chance to go through that development in their own show. It may be about the time in between. Who knows? But from this point on, it's like if they wanted to write her character that would become full dark side, that would be kind of interesting. Because we would kind of understand her motivations. Right. And it's like, oh, okay. That and because she looks too sweet and too kind to be like, oh, I'm afraid of this lady. She's vengeful. I think she's a good enough actress. I don't think it's that. I just think aesthetically, she doesn't look menacing enough.
She's got a baby face, very much baby face. Yeah.
She's too pretty.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, I'm afraid of you. Otherwise, they really have to show more of a change in her personality when she's, going out there. Because otherwise, I'm like, man, she's threatening. Can we get drinks? Because otherwise, it's like, yo, what's up? That's cool.
Again, for me, like honestly, if she had been another species, might have been a little bit better. But I guess one of the things that kind of ruined Reva in general for me was that I saw a better version of her with Trilla. So it was kind of like, and I think Trilla had just a better, and it just so happens that they're both minority characters and women, that I'm just like, well, Trilla was cooler actually. But you could see all the hurt and all the hate with Trilla and the way she felt about her mentor who abandoned her and everything.
But in this, you just see anger.
I don't even see that.
Oh, okay.
That's like we were just talking. Like I don't see a broken person. I see
someone that's pissed off, but I don't see the depth of hurt.
Correct.
In her character, because when I'm watching, I'm looking at her and she's doing all this other stuff. I'm like, she's not full dark side. Right. I mentioned this earlier. I'm like, she's not full dark side, and not just because of that one thing I mentioned before. Is like, oh, well, even her eyes didn't change. And so on and so forth. Because you have characters where that hasn't happened.
That's a good point.
There's something about her that's missing.
Yeah.
And it's not. And honestly, I don't think it's an actress thing. I don't think it's the actress.
I think it's just the direction.
I think it's the aesthetic of her character and the direction of the way
because
she's being
you
led.
can even argue. I mean, that was one of the things about Kylo as well.
Yeah.
Kylo and Bill is Ben is the fact that he was supposed to be full dark side, and that's actually a good point as well in the fact that Kylo also was kind of like was so non-threatening. The moment he took off his mask was kind of like, oh, okay, you got this boyish kind of thing, and it's like.
Yeah, when people
great
that,
actor,
like,
great
where
actor.
did that luscious hair come
But you could kind of see that, like, he was trying to, like, by the Last Jedi point, he was like fighting, he was splitting in two, and then Rise of Skywalker went full good, I guess. Anyways, all right. Anyways, we talked enough.
So yeah, either way, looking forward to seeing how they either wrap up this story or lead us into a different direction, because from the 4th episode on is when I basically started to enjoy Obi-Wan's character, because I felt like the first 3 episodes he felt a bit stilted, and they didn't really do anything with his character, because like a lot of people's like, how come he can't commune with Qui-Gon, or how come we haven't seen Qui-Gon?
Because they got to save that for season 2.
Yeah, or they had to save for this episode to lead into the next one. I'm like, oh, that's fine. When's that coming on?
Yeah. So full reaction. Available on Patreon. Multiverse of Madness has also just released, allegedly. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, because I'm like, wait, it doesn't have a physical date that popped up.
I'm sure it's coming soon. Full reaction is available, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe, notifications, and your latest reaction to the season finale of Obi-Wan
starts now.
There you go.
Revenge does wonders for the will to live, don't you think?
My brother hated this.
I thought it was great.
Because he thought it was a bit too racial.
A bit too much?
A bit too racial.
Oh, what?
It's like, what?
A black man stabbed another black woman. It's all good.
No, it was the Grand Inquisitor's speech afterwards.
No.
Being in the gutter and all that stuff. Like, come on, dude. He's talking about her being in the gutter because she was Jedi.
From the beginning, yeah.
Whatever. Either way, I don't care. I like it.
I like it a lot.
I'm digging that t-shirt, man. I like that gold print.
I like how my man titties get wrapped around the wars and gets enveloped, and then it's just like Har Wars. Star. Star.
Like two lightsabers.
Anyway. Okay. What, they don't like falafel?
Something you want to say?
Looking for a farmer.
That's as messed up as a black woman will ever let her hair get.
Yeah, I was like, she definitely.
She going
is
to
not on the upkeep.
Yeah. Things are about to get hot.
We're enough. You and me.
What?
What are you doing?
We both knew this day might come.
Damn!
The sun's
Well, I mean, they do hunt, so.
You got to thank EA for all that Battlefield. Is she gonna be a new DLC?
An exclusive.
She's gonna be on
Lego
Fortnite.
set
Yeah, she's gonna be on Fortnite.
I have something for you.
Oh, dope.
Hodge is the one that goes out, pretending to be a Jedi.
Probably.
That would have been nice.
Right.
Do what he's supposed to do, because he needs to.
But then again, they're building this up a lot of them getting separated again. But yeah. Vader gonna be like, who the fuck is?
He's like, nah, I see your magnets.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this, We can still fix the drive.
I have to go.
He really talks with his chin. Thank you. Watch, here we go.
Just get started.
He really leads with his head every. That's right. We'll do this. Okay.
So messed up.
It's not. It's just an observation.
Nah, I can't unsee that.
There's one life form aboard.
Damn, Beats by Dre.
Right?
My lord, you must continue.
Beats by Sith.
Follow Kenobi.
Wow.
Once, Lord Vader.
He's Inquisitor. He's like, he knows
Inquisitor.
better than to be
I
like,
ain't saying nothing.
yeah, okay, cool. Hey, he said it.
So
I did.
I'm enjoying my music. I'm gonna stay quiet.
Yeah. Staying alive. Staying alive.
These models are.
No, they went for the authentic old school feel. That's
Felt
all.
like it.
Yeah. George Lucas would be proud.
Bro. She snuck that into his pocket. That was sweet.
For her, buy from Disney.
Obi, what's that? Product placement.
Yeah. What's that? Product placement. Holiday 2023. Gotta buy something. I'm your new favorite BB-8. I mean, Reva, what's the? I guess what? You're gonna make it even by killing Darth Vader's kids? What's
But she
the game
doesn't
plan
know
here?
that Darth Vader has kids.
True, that is a good point. No, but she does. All she knows is like there is of importance.
But I don't think she would
You think she
kill
could do-
Luke because then she'd be the exact same as Vader, which she hates.
Right.
This is a cool shot.
That is cool though. All right, green screen's about to get fucked up, y'all, but we got to do it right if this is gonna happen.
Have you come to destroy me, Obi-Wan?
I will do what I must.
Oh.
Whoa!
Ah, the fingers.
Then you will die.
Okay. Very reminiscent of the fights in the hallways.
Oh shit! Oh, Obi! All right, nice. Distract his ass.
Strength has returned.
Yep.
Weakness
Wow.
still remains.
Damn!
Wow. Yo.
That is why you will always lose.
Wow.
OB-I-WAN Kenobi.
Think that you could defeat me?
Damn, that was. messed
I
up.
threw a rock at him.
They love the boy.
Damn!
Oh snap!
That was. She got cold cop.
You're gonna come out like Vegeta.
All right.
Right?
He's been holding all those rocks with the Force. That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
I'll give him that. That's nice.
Wow.
You were right.
Yeah! I have the power! Kakarot! Yeah. Yeah! Vader! Anakin!
Oh, that was a nice little trick. Old school. There we go.
Nice. Hey! What?
Oh!
No! No! What?
The
No!
Obi-Wan I've been waiting to see.
What the
There we
hell?
go.
What the hell? What the hell?
Oh.
Not.
Oh.
Shit! Oh shit! Fucking his ass up even more. Okay.
Yeah. Making it hard for him to breathe.
Yep. Oh my god.
Get a leg up.
So we're definitely seeing. I guess this
So-
is where we're gonna see Hades. Yeah.
Not just that, but reason why he'll be walking a little different, not so fast from now on, I guess.
Ah. High ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we see.
And
Yeah.
that explains the extra
Anakin.
damage.
What have I done?
Anakin's gone.
I am what remains.
I like how they mix their voices.
That's dope. I like it.
I'm sorry, Anakin. For all of it.
I am not your failure,
Obi-Wan.
You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did.
Closure for you.
Right? I was gonna
And
say.
so, and it fits with the line of Vader killed your father.
I will destroy you.
It's like in New Hope he tells him that too.
Then my friend is
Vader
truly
killed
dead.
your father.
Goodbye. Darth.
Oh, come on, bro. At this point, then, you got all the closure you need. Wipes this dude out.
Obi-Wan!
Hmm.
Obi-Wan!
Almost like Darth Maul.
Wow. Interesting.
All broken up.
God, and then, you know, somewhere Sidious is just like, God damn it again! Send the troopers! We gotta clean up!
Damn it, Vader.
Yep.
We need to clean up on L6.
Right. My apprentice, what the hell?
Now, if Obi-Wan shows up here, I'm going to be a little irritated. I'm like, shit. I spoke too soon?
Luke.
Damn, Obi-Wan just going around cleaning up everything right now. Just gonna drive it right into her.
Right? You'll stop yourself.
Darth Maul comes in. Oh,
Sees
wow.
yourself. Good.
Not impressed.
My thing is, why does she feel conflicted? Why do you need to kill him?
That's what I'm still trying, like, what does she know? What, like, does she even know who he is? Like, she just knows that it would hurt Obi, I guess. Well, regardless of this story, man, this is beautiful. It looks great.
I couldn't do it.
She gotta look like Lil Wayne.
Have I become him?
Huh?
It was up to you.
You're an Avenger now. Everybody's just throwing their sabers in the sand now, you know? God, if you go to Tatooine with a metal detector, you just pick up the craziest shit. Just throw it in the sand.
You seem agitated, my friend.
He will not obey me.
Did you get that ass whooped again?
I serve only you, my master.
That has to be digitally done. Sidious. There's no way they brought back old dude just for those lines.
He
like
came back. He came back.
To do that?
Yeah. Hey, it's still a paycheck. I'm like, you're only in it for 30 seconds. That's fine. 3 hours of
guess
makeup.
so.
Go ahead, have at it.
My man always looks drunk, dude. Every time I see him, he look wasted. he really be looking like one of those cool dudes you want to drink with, like the uncles that really can know how to get down. Hey, Ben. that was the way.
From a droid.
Did they actually have screen time in A New Hope?
Trying to think.
Obi and
Goodbye,
Leia
princess.
together,
No.
right?
May the force be with you.
So maybe they'll fix that in the next season. They'll have another interaction or two.
mean,
I don't
look,
know.
Do we really need another season?
If the next season is more like episode 4, 5, and 6 of this TV series, cool. If it's like 1, 2, and 3, mini-series? Just joking.
This was cool, but
Yeah,
it was kind of just a little unnecessary, honestly.
Well, I would like it more if he's doing the lone warrior thing and trying to help out other people on like side missions, while, you know, casually looking over Luke. I think that would work better. Also, he needs to get a house because he has a house in New Hope. He's living in a cave.
I thought he was living in a cave in A New Hope.
No,
like he lived in a cave.
He was helping. So like when he helps Luke with the Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, he has a.
He's in his house.
Actual hut.
Yeah, because for the longest time I thought it was Luke's, and someone's like, no, it's actually his place. That's why they go from his place back to where Luke originally lives. It's like, oh,
right. And he looks.
So he's got to find he's got to find a place to live.
Oh yes, this would have been a dope hot tub stream. Now I'm going to kill Darth Maul once and for all.
Right.
And find another boy to talk to.
Dan, you want to meet him? Hello there.
Okay. Alright, you guys got... I think you guys got 10 more minutes. Come
really?
on, gotta give me something.
I think that was it.
There we... Hey. Oh, he mastered it. Alright, Qui-Gon.
You're like, dude.
Qui-Gon,
where you been, man?
Hey!
Nice.
Took you long enough.
Okay.
Come on. We've got a ways to go.
Basically exactly what you were saying. Now you're like, now I have to watch season
Maybe we
2.
do need a season 2 now.
Right? And it'll be the journey of Obi-Wan communing with Qui-Gon and solving problems.
Yeah, predictable. Okay, so there you have it. That was the season finale of Obi-Wan, the most supplemental material that I have ever seen on Disney Plus, honestly. Not as bad, for me personally, not as bad as Loki TV, which some really liked Loki TV. But you know, I think I don't know. Okay, from a massive Star Wars fan, what's your take on this?
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I enjoyed it for it being the supplementary material to help bridge the gaps between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope to some extent.
Some degree.
There's still a big chunk of time, but I like that, you know, we had this. I will say my criticisms, not that I have a lot, because, you know, it is what it is, would be pacing. But then again, at the same time, I don't really have a problem with the pacing. It's more of the story plot points to stick with me. It's not that I have a problem with the show, but I need something to have plot points that make me want to follow up a little more urgently.
I agree.
You know, because I obviously got tied into it, because like you mentioned, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and I like Obi-Wan, and literally this episode, episode 5 was good, but this episode is the Obi-Wan that I was actually expecting, especially looking at from Clone Wars and Rebels or whatever, up until the time we see him in New Hope. That's kind of what he should be. So going from the broken Obi-Wan to seeing him picking up the pieces and kind of healing himself to move forward, I like that part of the story. Because like, okay, now that makes more sense. Now what do we do? So I guess from season 2 is more of Obi-Wan, as opposed to everyone and Obi-Wan. Reva, for me, I feel like it wasn't clear. It wasn't clear enough as to why she's trying to hunt down Anakin. Because I'm like, look,
Luke.
Excuse me, Luke.
You're right. But
because look, it's like, look,
was she trying to punish?
Well, actually, no. Flip. One, hunting down Anakin / Vader. One, how did you survive this long and not get killed? Because again, Vader knew the whole time, so why didn't he kill her? Okay, because he's using her, but then left her alive. So I'm like, Then this, she's like, I'm going after Luke. I'm like, why in the hell would she be going after Luke? Because no one other than Obi-Wan and Bail Organa really knew that Vader had children,
Right.
let alone 2. So she didn't make the tie-in between Leia and him, but makes the tie-in between Luke and Vader. How? I need that explained, because I feel like I'm missing something, because no one knew that.
Right, but no, I don't think she made any sort of connection between Luke and Vader.
So then why go after Luke?
To hurt Obi-Wan.
Again, why?
I don't know.
What would you go after a kid for?
I don't know. Maybe because I was kind of like just annoyed at the entire thing, but she was kind of saying something about how she couldn't make them proud or something like that. Like she couldn't, and I was like, is she referring to? She's Vader and the Grand Inquisitor, or
she's referring to the other family members of the other Padawans
that were killed.
So basically, she's suffering from survivor's guilt, which I understand. But I'm like, but at what point do you decide? Well, actually, let me kill a youngling, or a potential youngling. That's where I have a slight disconnect.
She was
because that's the reprogramming of her hunting and killing Jedi from before as an Inquisitor. Oh,
or maybe okay, but again, it goes back to the thing I was kind of thinking about again, is the fact that again Vader was kind of indirectly treating her as a Padawan, and so again making Vader proud, making the Grand Inquisitor proud by killing force-sensitive child or whatever like that. So then she can go back and be like, "Oh no, I am one of you guys." I guess.
I mean, at the end, she's like, "It's not what I wanted."
Right.
I see myself in that child. Okay, I get that. And I'm like, okay,
the entire.
But how are you still alive? What is the purpose of your character from this point on?
The entire Reva thing is stupid. Honestly speaking, and I'm not saying that as the actress is bad, but I think that just the character. So a lot of this reminds me of. It just feels like so much of this Obi-Wan series was essentially
backdoor pilot.
No, was them doing a do-over for The Last Jedi. They tried to give the old man Jedi story, and they finally gave us a better version of an old man Jedi story that found its way, which that's what people wanted from Luke. I personally like what they did with Luke in The Last Jedi, but that's me. Kylo Ren's whole situation of kind of going back and forth, I kind of feel like Reva was somewhat like that, where it's kind of like showing.
I don't mind a character, we'll say a villain, that goes a little back and forth. They feel conflicted, because that's something that happened with Vader throughout the story, even with A New Hope and so on and so forth. So I'm like, I'm okay with that. But like Reva's character, I thought her character was interesting. And had potential. Her character's story didn't really make sense because there's no closure to it. Like her character being someone that's like trying to get the #1 spot for Vader is something that happens,
which
with
would be cool,
a lot of characters,
but that was never her intention.
Star Wars, so that was fine.
Yeah, her whole intention was to kill Vader.
But starting off like that, it seemed like this. Okay, that's fine. But then turning around and being like, well, actually, I'm just trying to get close enough to him so I can kill him. It's like, so that's your motivation. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with, and what I'm super confused of, is why are you still breathing? Why were you breathing this long? Okay, Vader using you to get what he wants, to get to Obi-Wan, okay, but still, he's killed people for less.
Right. It should have been done.
So it's like, there's
we
gotta be
literally
something
saw him
else.
snap somebody's neck like that.
And not just that, and that was someone that didn't know who he was. Yep. He's taken a ship, a drop ship full of troopers.
I know.
And just been like, one person said, well, he's you can't trust what he says. He's Anakin Skywalker. He's not Vader. It's like, oh, really? Killed everybody and then report back to Emperor's like, yeah, she tried to get away, so she didn't survive.
It's the whole
I need something to happen with Reva's story to make it make sense. I don't have a problem with her character. I don't have a problem with them trying to do something with her character, but it feels like there was no follow through make sense to anything else other than she's mad at Vader because she survived.
So you will, because of that, you're willing to watch a 6-episode series on Reva because that's what they announced.
Yeah, I'm willing to watch because of two. I'll say more simplified 2 reasons. One, to see if there's any type of closure for her story for it to make sense, and her character eventually, I guess, dies, or opposite, or the other reason is to see what other characters are in with the Star Wars universe that may not be Obi-Wan or Vader, because I'd like to see some more Star Wars stories that aren't necessarily focused on Skywalker.
And then Obi-Wan season 2, obviously.
Oh, obviously I'm gonna watch now. I mean, when Qui-Gon decided to show up, he's like, well, hold my beer. Is how it felt. Him showing up the last minute, unfortunately, many of us predicted that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. I'm not hating it. I'm actually happy. But now I'm like, all right, season 2 has definitely got to step it up. Please don't do the same pacing as season 1.
But I guarantee it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same. Like,
I think it's going to be more in tune with Mandalorian season 2 pacing style.
It's because here's the thing.
Because of how this ended.
But here's the thing. I think the only Star Wars, in my opinion, as someone who's not a crazy fan, or insane fan, just a very, very casual fan. I forget half the characters half the time.
There's a universe full of them.
But the Star Wars has only been good and exciting to me when it doesn't focus on the legacy characters.
Well, and that's what I mean. That's why I'm interested in seeing Reva, hoping that it's not about legacy characters. It's about everybody else. That's why I like Mandalorian.
Fair enough.
Because it wasn't about them specifically.
Fair, and I think that's fair. But I think even with Boba Fett suffered because they were trying to tie so much into what is canon and trying to keep it as connected as possible. But it was only when the Mandalorian showed up that I'm like, oh well, there's not so much that they need to keep in line with.
They should have just kept his character
movies,
just like he was when they introduced him or reintroduced him in the Mandalorian TV series, where he was actually a badass fighter and he was trying to, get his armor back and move on from there. I'm like, that's perfect. Keep the character like that. Even the actor's like, I want to go back to more of that because that made more sense.
I personally would not really want Obi-Wan season 2 because of this line of work. I probably will have to watch it regardless. But if the Reva show, probably not. I'll probably skip that one. Or I might watch it, but I won't be editing it or anything like that.
Unless it surprises you and it's better than this.
It's doubtful.
It could end up being the opposite of what you may be expecting because the focus has been changed.
The only way that is true. The only way something like that works is that the Reva show is actually the code name for the, I don't know what they'll call it, but Fallen Order-ish spin-off show. Because Cal is still old enough that he can play, or I don't know, Jerome, or I don't know what his real name is, but the actor,
Cal Kestis.
Yeah, the actor who plays Cal Kestis he's still got the same look that they could still actually retell that story.
And even if they didn't and wanted to continue the story after that, it's still doable, and it fits with the game that's going to come out anyway.
And my assumption is like what I'm kind of saying is like it could be just that side story of Cal. Oh, he runs into another Inquisitor. He's familiar with Trilla. Maybe we see flashbacks like that, but it's Reva essentially joining the Guardians of the Star Wars version of the Guardians of the Galaxy, like that.
I wouldn't mind if they
something
did
like that,
yeah. Or if they brought in my boy Star Killer and did an actual story with that, because we only get video game stuff. So instead of doing that, is he Vader's apprentice or something different, and just do a story not based on Vader and anybody else. Just
if they brought in Star Killer, I think they would definitely they would have to keep him somewhat of a mystery, so to speak. And and what I mean is like he could still have the history of most of his original origin story,
like recovering from the programming of Vader, or maybe
just in general, like something like something that Vader is involved but not really mentioned, but it's all a mystery for the entire show.
Or
it's like,
that
he's got
Vader's involved, but through the eyes of the Inquisitors, because Inquisitors are having
something like that. But yeah, basically it's a guy where you're not really sure is he evil or good,
like he
or
plays
bad.
An anti-hero, kind of like Mandalorian. It's like he's anti-hero.
I could see something like that, but regardless, I felt like this was so unnecessary.
I'll say the most annoying part for me of the show was Obi-Wan constantly leaving Leia. And Leia constantly getting kidnapped. I'm like, it's a trope that's unfortunately going to happen her entire life in the Star Wars universe, and I accept that. What I'm like, why does Obi-Wan keep pining her off to everybody else instead of just taking her home? So I'm like, look, you are on a dropship and you're trying to, you know, get Vader to be distracted to give people a chance to keep going. I'm okay with that. But then my issue is, like, you went down to the planet, you fought Vader, and you flew away, and they didn't shoot you out the sky?
Right.
Okay, I guess they were busy telling the Emperor, hey, we need a medic to come and get Vader.
It was very.
It's a little loose, but all right.
The entire season,
him making it back in time.
The entire show was very sloppy writing, and it felt very much. Unfortunately, and this is the biggest problem with dealing with the legacy stories and trying to make it all connect so much, is that there's a lot of. It seems like they have to play it very careful, but at the same time, it's very simple in some things. Well, it's just very simplified. And then I can almost imagine what the writing process is like, is that they do have their first draft or so, and they get it almost finalized. But at the end of the day, when they start shooting, they start seeing like, wait, we can't make it this way. And then it's like, okay, we're running out of time, so let's just have a few different versions. And then once we get to the editing point,
pick which one.
This may not make sense, but it's the closest that connects to canon, so nothing seems out of place and such. But no, I feel like a lot of it almost felt fan fiction in some points, like a very expensive fanfic.
Do you think
that played it safe?
They brought Qui-Gon in at the end because of budgetary reasons or story?
I would say,
like, if they brought him in earlier in the season, do you think that would have made a bigger impact? Because for me, looking back, I'd say introducing Qui-Gon or letting it be known that he's there.
Story-wise.
But
to answer the
story-wise?
Because only because like because I think Liam Neeson is not that expensive. We've seen the movies. We've seen some of the movie, and I love him, but look, like, his record kind of speaks for itself. It's not like, you know, this dude does Super Bowl commercials, and it's like, you know, and I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I'm just saying that he's not a very expensive. He's not a very expensive. I don't think he's going to be asking for a lot of money. But I think story wise, it's just the way they want it, and I feel like, and this is where they weren't hitting it out the park. But I guess the entire idea was the fact that Obi was dealing with PTSD. He was doubting himself, and then by the final episode, because it was just because of the timing and the way the pacing was, we really didn't feel like it really paid off. But the only affirmation that we really got was the fact that he finally was able to land some hits on Vader, and Vader had to verbally confirm that your strength has returned. You know,
for those who weren't sure, it's like,
right.
Well, how is it that Obi-Wan can stand up to him kind of now and he couldn't before?
Right.
His strength is returned.
And then, you know, they gave us the cliche-ish flat, thinking of someone who's close to you. That's Leia. Now he's all does.
Yeah. So
it's Doctor Strange. Like,
well, yeah, that and I looked at it was
Dragon Ball.
Not just Dragon Ball, but also
Yoda.
Ray did it.
Oh, okay.
Ray did it at the end of episode 8, where, you know, you can clearly see that her and Finn were going to go in for a kiss, and it's like, well, actually, we have to give each other a hug because, you know, contractually, these things. Whatever. So I look at this as, for me, story-wise...
Oh, wait, sorry, but the point...
Earlier?
But the point I was trying to say was the fact that this was supposed to be Obi's final training, and his training was finally complete to this point, and that's why he could finally see Qui-Gon, who also, ironically, never mastered physical form at the time. And so there was even theories that he was just going to be voice only because he never mastered it in time before his death but I guess
He figured it out.
I guess down the line he figured it out.
I
So
mean, he was waiting for Obi-Wan. He's like, "Oh, shit, I got time."
yeah, I couldn't space zoom you, but yeah, I mean, it was cool,
if he had
but
shown
like
up
it was
earlier,
just so
I
cliche.
think it would have been okay. Like this. So earlier in the season, say episode 2, even 3 at the latest, you hear his voice or Remo's voice, and it's like, you need to keep up, or you need to keep going. Anything, don't lose hope, whatever it is. Because at this point, Obi-Wan's completely broken.
Right.
He's lost, right? He's been burned, and it's just voice. And then he goes through all this, whatever, and then at the end of the episode like this, you see him and he has pretty much the same dialogue. Oh, for me, I felt like that would have felt more impactful.
I agree.
And a bit more of an urge to watch, because it's like, okay,
instead of him
Obi-Wan's
showing up
going through
right at the
something that
end,
he really needs to overcome
right,
and move on.
Right.
I'm enjoying the show, but there's some things that I'm like, something is missing or it's not connecting well enough, for casual viewers. Because if a casual viewer can look at that and feel like I do, then that means there's something missing.
I mean, this
right.
dude just turned around like, well, there you are.
Yeah, he was like,
okay,
and he's waiting at the canyon. He's like, dude, like, seriously, I've been waiting here for like 10 years. What's up? So, either way, I watched the second season. I'm happy that they did the show finally, and Ian McGregor and
better than
Christian
Boba.
were able
I'll put it that way.
to come back and reprise the roles. And
better
things.
than Boba, but not as good as the Mandalorian.
But
so,
I am looking forward to seeing where they go from this. It's funny you mentioned Mandalorian. 'Cause I'm like,
where's that
Din
trailer?
Djarin gonna be in the
Where
second
is that
season?
trailer? Yeah, okay.
Oh, season 3.
Yeah, because they already showed it at the Star Wars Celebration, and like the shots look so good.
What?
The leaked shots that came out look so
no, I
good.
can't look at any leaks.
I cannot
I gotta look
wait.
at the actual thing.
I cannot wait till that
sure.
trailer drops. It's gonna be so good. Anyways, full
I wouldn't
reaction
be surprised if it drops.
now.
Yeah, because Obi-Wan just ended.
True. Full reaction on Patreon, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for being part
so
of it.
much. Sorry for the long spiel.
And may the
Appreciate it.
force be
you.
with you.
Always.
Peace.